Have you ever wondered what truly happens in your life when you develop a deep devotion to Saint Padre Pio? The kind of transformation that goes beyond simple prayer requests to profound life changes. Today, I'm going to reveal the 7 extraordinary miracles that manifest in the lives of those who sincerely connect with this powerful saint. Changes so remarkable that they've been documented in testimonies across the world. Saint Padre Pio isn't just another figure in Catholic tradition. He stands apart as one of the most mystically gifted saints in church history. For over 50 years, he bore the painful stigmata, the wounds of Christ visible on his hands, feet, and side. His ability to read souls, heal the sick, and appear in 2 places simultaneously by location made him extraordinary during his lifetime. But his spiritual influence has only grown since his death in 1968. What makes devotion to Padre Pio so transformative? Unlike many spiritual practices that offer temporary comfort, connecting with Padre Pio creates lasting change that touches every aspect of your existence. From physical healing to spiritual awakening, from family restoration to unexpected financial provision. The 7 miracles I'm about to share have been consistently reported by devotees around the globe. The most powerful testimony I've encountered came from a woman in Mexico City who had abandoned her faith after years of unanswered prayers. Her son was battling a degenerative disease, her husband had lost his job, and their home faced foreclosure. In desperation, she began a daily devotion to Padre Pio after finding one of his prayer cards. Within months, doctors were baffled by her son's improvement. Her husband found better employment than he'd ever had, and a distant relative unexpectedly helped save their home. It wasn't just help with our problems, she explained. Everything about how we experienced life changed. We found peace in the midst of our struggles. These kinds of transformations aren't isolated incidents. They follow a pattern. 7 specific miracles that emerge when someone develops authentic devotion to this remarkable saint. And I promise you, the 7th miracle, which I'll reveal near the end of our time together, is the most extraordinary of all. It's the one that creates a permanent shift in how you experience your entire spiritual journey. If you believe in Padre Pio's intercessory power, write in the comments, "Saint Padre Pio, transform my life through your intercession." This simple act of faith can be the beginning of your own miracle journey. Throughout this video, I'll share documented testimonies, explain the spiritual principles behind these transformations, and reveal exactly how you can begin your own devotion to invite these 7 miracles into your life. I'll also address the deep connection between Padre Pio's own suffering and his unique ability to understand and intercede in our darkest moments. Stay with me until the end, because after exploring all 7 miraculous transformations, I'll share the exact devotional practice that has proven most effective in activating Padre Pio's intercession. This simple daily ritual has been the catalyst for countless miracles worldwide. Before we dive into the 7 life-changing miracles that happen when you pray the Rosary daily, let's understand why Padre Pio's devotion to this prayer makes him such a powerful guide for our spiritual journey. Padre Pio, born Francesco Forgione in 1887 in southern Italy, wasn't always known worldwide. He began his life as a simple friar with extraordinary spiritual gifts. What set him apart was the appearance of the stigmata, the visible wounds of Christ, which he bore painfully for over 50 years. These weren't symbolic marks, they were deep, bleeding wounds that never healed, never became infected, and defied medical explanation. But beyond this visible sign, Padre Pio possessed remarkable spiritual abilities. He could read souls, knowing the unconfessed sins of those who came to him. He could bilocate, appearing in 2 places simultaneously to help those in need. The fragrance of roses would often announce his spiritual presence, even to those miles away. At the center of Padre Pio's spiritual power was his unwavering devotion to the Rosary. He never went anywhere without his rosary beads, calling them his weapon against evil. Love the Madonna and pray the Rosary. For her rosary is the weapon against the evils of the world, he would often say. He believed so deeply in its power that he would pray more than 30 complete rosaries each day. Many people wonder how this was even possible. The secret lay in Padre Pio's understanding that the rosary wasn't merely a repetitive prayer, but a profound meditation on the life of Christ through Mary's eyes. He would pray throughout the day, while walking, between confessions, during moments of rest, making the rosary the continuous background of his existence. For Padre Pio, the rosary created a spiritual shield around the faithful. He witnessed firsthand how those devoted to this prayer experienced profound protection during World War II, when bombs fell near his monastery but caused no casualties among those who had sought his prayers. If you're seeking deeper transformation in your life, I have something special for you. Our ebook, The Power of the Rosary with Padre Pio, Miracles, Protection, and Divine Graces. This spiritual treasure will help you learn to pray the Rosary with greater devotion and depth. Discover the miracles and testimonies of those who have experienced its power. Explore Padre Pio's most impactful teachings and quotes on prayer. Follow a 30-day prayer guide with daily intentions to strengthen your faith and access special prayers for protection, healing, and deliverance. The Rosary was Padre Pio's greatest weapon, and now it can be yours too. Don't miss this opportunity to strengthen your spiritual life with a resource that has already helped thousands. To download it, simply click the pinned link in the comments. What makes Padre Pio's approach to the Rosary different from ordinary repetitive prayer is his emphasis on intentionality and presence. He taught that each word should be prayed with complete focus, allowing the mysteries to unfold in your imagination as if you were witnessing the events of Christ's life personally. This approach transforms the Rosary from a simple devotion into a powerful spiritual experience. Now that we understand why Padre Pio and the Rosary form such a powerful combination for spiritual transformation, let's explore the first 3 miraculous changes that happen when you commit to this daily practice. When you commit to praying the Rosary every day, as Padre Pio taught, 3 powerful transformations begin almost immediately. These aren't mere coincidences, but spiritual realities that countless devotees have experienced throughout the years. The first miracle that manifests is extraordinary spiritual protection. Padre Pio often described the Rosary as a shield that surrounds the faithful, making them less vulnerable to negative spiritual influences. This protection operates on multiple levels, guarding your thoughts, your home, and even your physical well-being. Consider the story of Elena from Brazil. For years, she suffered from inexplicable nightmares and a persistent sense of heaviness in her home. Medical help provided no relief, and she felt increasingly hopeless. After learning about Padre Pio's devotion to the Rosary, she began praying it daily. Within 2 weeks, she recalls, the nightmares stopped completely. I could feel a lightness in our home that hadn't been there before. Even my children noticed the difference without my mentioning anything. This protection extends beyond just feelings. Many devotees report that areas of vulnerability in their lives, whether relationships prone to conflict, temptations they struggle with, or negative thought patterns, begin to strengthen and heal. Padre Pio explained this phenomenon simply. The Rosary is the prayer that touches Mary's heart and brings her immediately to our aid. When Mary comes to our aid, she brings with her a mother's protective instinct, shielding us from harm while gently guiding us toward healing. The second miracle that emerges through daily Rosary prayer is physical and emotional healing. While not every illness disappears instantly, devotees consistently report improvements in their overall well-being that defy medical explanation. James, a veteran suffering from PTSD, found that standard treatments offered minimal relief. His therapist, familiar with spiritual practices, suggested adding the Rosary to his daily routine. I was skeptical, James admits, but desperate enough to try anything. After 3 months of daily prayer, the intensity of his flashbacks diminished significantly. The doctors can't explain it, he says. Brain scans show different patterns of activity now. My medication has been reduced by half, and I'm sleeping through the night for the first time in years. What makes this healing so profound is that it addresses both visible and invisible wounds. The repetitive nature of the Rosary creates a meditation-like state that calms the nervous system, while the intentional focus on the mysteries provides a framework for processing emotional pain. Padre Pio understood this connection between spiritual practice and healing. He would tell those who came to him seeking physical cures, pray the Rosary frequently. It costs so little and it's worth so much. The third miracle that manifests is clear guidance in decision-making. In a world filled with conflicting advice and endless options, those who pray the Rosary daily report receiving unexpected clarity about their path forward. Maria, a business executive facing a critical career decision, turned to the Rosary when logical analysis left her confused about which option to choose. Iditi, after a week of daily Rosary prayer, she explains, I woke up one morning with absolute certainty about which path to take. What's remarkable is that it wasn't the option that made the most sense on paper, but it has led to the most fulfilling work of my career. This guidance doesn't always come as a dramatic revelation. More often, it manifests as a growing inner certainty, a peace about a particular direction, or even a series of unexpected circumstances that clearly point the way forward. Padre Pio described this phenomenon as divine illumination, a subtle light that helps us see our circumstances from heaven's perspective rather than our limited human viewpoint. How does this guidance operate? The Rosary's meditation on the life of Christ trains our minds to recognize God's patterns of working. As we contemplate how divine guidance operated in the biblical stories, we become more attuned to similar patterns in our own lives. Additionally, the calming effect of the prayer creates mental space for insights that might otherwise be drowned out by anxiety and overthinking. These first 3 miracles, protection, healing, and guidance, form the foundation for the deeper transformations that follow. They create a stable base from which more profound spiritual growth can emerge. As Padre Pio often reminded those who sought his counsel, in all the events of life, you should recognize the divine will. Adore and bless it, especially in the things which are the hardest for you. The daily Rosary helps us develop exactly this perspective. As we continue our exploration of the 7 miracles, remember that consistency is key. These transformations deepen and expand with faithful practice over time. As your daily Rosary practice deepens, 3 more miraculous transformations begin to unfold in your life. These changes often affect not just your internal spiritual state, but extend outward to your relationships and material circumstances. The 4th miracle that emerges is family reconciliation and healing of relationships. Padre Pio often counseled those with family conflicts to pray the Rosary together if possible, or for the family if praying together wasn't an option. The results of this practice have been consistently remarkable. Consider the experience of the Morales family, who had been fractured by a bitter inheritance dispute that left siblings not speaking to each other for over a decade. The youngest daughter, heartbroken by the family division, began praying the Rosary daily for reconciliation. I didn't tell anyone what I was doing, she explains. I simply held each family member in my heart during specific decades of the Rosary. Within 6 months, small communications began between family members. Within a year, the family gathered for a reunion that many had thought impossible. What makes the Rosary so effective for healing relationships? When we meditate on the Holy Family during the joyful mysteries, we're reminded of what family is meant to be. When we contemplate Christ's forgiveness during the sorrowful mysteries, we're taught how to release our grievances. The Rosary gently reshapes our understanding of love, forgiveness, and family bonds, allowing us to approach difficult relationships with new perspectives. Padre Pio explained it this way: The Rosary purifies our hearts, and when our hearts are pure, we see others as God sees them, not defined by their failings, but by their inherent dignity as children of God. This shift in perception is often the first step toward reconciliation. The fifth miracle that manifests through daily Rosary devotion is unexpected provision and resolution of material concerns. While the Rosary isn't a magical formula for wealth, devotees consistently report that their material needs are met in sometimes surprising ways. Roberto, a small business owner facing bankruptcy during an economic downturn, began praying the Rosary daily after learning about Padre Pio's devotion. "I didn't expect a financial miracle," he shares. "I was simply seeking spiritual strength to face my challenges." Yet within months, a series of unexpected opportunities emerged: a new business contact, an innovative idea for pivoting his services, and a timely loan from a source he hadn't considered. None of these developments were dramatic on their own, Roberto notes, but together they created a path forward that simply wasn't visible to me before. This provision often comes not through spectacular windfalls, but through a combination of improved decision-making, timely opportunities, and a newfound ability to distinguish between wants and needs. The Rosary helps align our priorities with eternal values, reducing anxiety about material concerns and creating mental space for creative solutions. Padre Pio, who lived a life of radical simplicity, nonetheless understood the reality of material needs. He would often tell people, "Pray, hope, and don't worry. Worry is useless. God is merciful and will hear your prayer." The daily Rosary helps embed this trust into our consciousness, reducing the stress that often blocks creative problem solving. The sixth miracle that unfolds is profound inner peace that remains stable even amid external chaos. This isn't the temporary calm that comes from avoiding problems, but a deep-rooted serenity that persists even in challenging circumstances. Alexandra, an emergency room nurse working through the height of a global health crisis, found herself overwhelmed by the constant stress and grief of her work. A colleague suggested she try praying the Rosary daily. "I was skeptical that such a simple practice could help with such enormous stress," she admits, "but within weeks I noticed a fundamental change. The circumstances remained just as challenging, but I had found an inner sanctuary that the chaos couldn't penetrate." This peace has neurological dimensions as well as spiritual ones. The repetitive nature of the Rosary prayer, combined with intentional breathing and focus, activates the parasympathetic nervous system, the body's natural calming mechanism. Meanwhile, meditation on the mysteries provides a broader perspective on suffering and challenges, helping us place our current difficulties within a larger spiritual context. Padre Pio, who endured tremendous physical pain throughout his life, was nonetheless known for his serenity. The Rosary, he would say, is the oxygen of the soul. It provides what we need most in times of stress, a connection to something larger than our immediate circumstances, and a framework for understanding suffering as meaningful rather than merely painful. These three miracles, reconciliation, provision, and peace, build upon the foundation laid by the first three transformations. Together, they create a life that, while not free from challenges, is increasingly characterized by harmony, sufficiency, and tranquility. As we prepare to explore the seventh and most profound miracle, remember Padre Pio's words: "The Rosary is the weapon for these times." We've explored 6 profound transformations that occur when you pray the Rosary daily, following the example of Saint Padre Pio. Yet there remains one miracle, perhaps the most significant of all, that emerges only after consistent devotion has prepared the soil of your soul to receive it. The 7th miracle that manifests through daily Rosary prayer is complete spiritual transformation, a fundamental shift in how you perceive reality and your place within it. This isn't merely a change in behavior or circumstance, but a rebirth of your entire spiritual identity. People who experience this transformation often struggle to put it into words, but they consistently describe a sense of seeing with new eyes. Ordinary events reveal extraordinary meaning. Challenges that once seemed random now appear as invitations to growth. Most significantly, their relationship with God evolves from occasional communication to continuous communion. Father Thomas, a priest who has guided many through spiritual formation, describes this transformation. When someone has prayed the Rosary daily for an extended period, I can often recognize it before they even mention their prayer life. There's a quality of presence, a depth of compassion, and a stability of faith that sets them apart. They've absorbed Mary's way of seeing the world, which is ultimately Christ's way of seeing. This transformation happens gradually, almost imperceptibly, like the slow turning of a ship toward a new destination. Through daily meditation on the mysteries of Christ's life, your mind is literally rewired. Neuroscience confirms that repeated focus physically reshapes neural pathways. The events you contemplate in the Rosary, incarnation, sacrifice, resurrection, glory, become the framework through which you interpret your own experiences. Padre Pio described this process as becoming living rosaries ourselves, where the mysteries we contemplate become embodied in our reactions, decisions, and relationships. He believed this transformation wasn't just personal, but had cosmic implications, explaining that a single rosary prayed with true devotion does more to combat evil in the world than many other actions combined. The most remarkable aspect of this seventh miracle is that it turns you into a channel of grace for others. Those who have experienced this transformation often find that people are drawn to them for guidance, comfort, and prayer. Without conscious effort, they begin to mirror Mary's role as a conduit of divine love. Maria Elena, a grandmother from Mexico City, experienced this reality after 3 years of daily rosary devotion. "I didn't set out to become any kind of spiritual guide," she explains. "I was simply trying to deepen my own faith. But gradually, neighbors and even strangers began seeking me out for prayer and counsel. Something in me had changed, and others could sense it." This seventh miracle encompasses and amplifies all the others. The protection becomes something you extend to those around you. The healing flows through you to others. The guidance you've received equips you to guide others. The reconciliation you've experienced in your relationships enables you to become a peacemaker. The provision in your life overflows into generosity. The peace you've found radiates outward, creating an atmosphere of calm wherever you go. In essence, through faithful rosary prayer, you become what Padre Pio called another Christ in the world, not through your own power, but through your willingness to be shaped by continual meditation on Christ's life. As we conclude our exploration of these 7 miraculous transformations, I invite you to commit to a 40-day journey of daily rosary prayer. This traditional period of spiritual testing and formation is long enough to begin experiencing the first miracles we've discussed, yet short enough to feel achievable. Begin with just 1 decade if a full rosary seems overwhelming. Remember Padre Pio's advice to pray with the heart rather than rushing through the words. Quality of attention matters more than quantity of prayers, especially when beginning this practice. If possible, create a small prayer space with an image of Mary and perhaps a picture of Padre Pio to remind you of his powerful intercession. Even a small corner of a room dedicated to this purpose can become a sanctuary of peace in your home. Most importantly, approach this devotion not as a magical formula for getting what you want, but as a relationship to be nurtured. The miracles we've explored aren't prizes to be won, but natural fruits of spiritual intimacy, developing gradually as you grow closer to Mary and, through her, to Christ. I invite you to share in the comments. I commit to 40 days of rosary prayer with Padre Pio as my guide. Your declaration of intent is itself a powerful act of faith. Brothers and sisters, our community grows stronger with each person who joins us in this spiritual journey. If today's message has touched your heart, please take a moment to support our mission of spreading these teachings of faith. By clicking the like button, you help more people discover this guidance. By sharing this video with those who might be struggling, you become an instrument of hope in their lives. And by subscribing to our channel, you join a family of believers committed to growing together in faith. We need your support to continue producing content that strengthens hearts and transforms lives. Each subscription, each share, each comment helps us reach more souls who hunger for spiritual nourishment. Remember, when Padre Pio was asked how to grow in faith, he simply said, "Through prayer and community." Today, you're part of our community. Together, through the power of the Rosary and St. Padre Pio's intercession, we can experience these 7 miracles, not just individually, but collectively. May God bless you abundantly.